Welcome, everyone, to the Morristown Unitarian Universalist Fellowship. Welcome to this day of memory and farewell. We come here this morning to mark the passing and to celebrate the life of Robert Calafiore. Before his death on Saturday, May 24th, 2025, Bob graced this world for 78 years, sharing his kind and caring heart, bright mind, gentle spirit, passion for environmental activism, and above all, his love for his family and his friends. And although he was taken from us before, we were ready to part with him. His was a long and good life filled with fulfilling work at Bell Labs and as a tutor and a teacher, meaningful volunteer efforts, daily phone calls with his beloved grandkids, good books on diverse topics, many passion projects to help improve his life and the world around him, long friendships with co-workers, fellow spiritual seekers and activists in the meditation group and the Green Earth Ministry, and his brothers in the Gathering of Men, and countless cherished moments with his closest loved ones. And so as we gather here today, let us celebrate Bob's life together. Let it be gratitude more than sadness that brings us here, gratitude for the gift that Bob's life was full of moments of great joy, of beauty, of laughter, and all wrapped up in love. And our opening words this morning are by Greg Ward. If we are lucky, we will all get a chance during our life to know someone who becomes for us an exemplar of living. And if we are really lucky, we will recognize how they ended up passing on some of their goodness to us, if we are lucky. But one thing is certain, no one, not one of us entering this world can escape the cost of living. The price we pay is this. To live in this world, we must accept that we will one day have to die. To love what is alive, we must accept having to lose what we have made precious through our care. To be fully and fiercely human, we must accept having to be breakable and sometimes broken. And when we stop to notice how their life gave us a path and a little light to see by, it encourages us to help carry that light forward. Though each of us carries forth in this world a small flame, we know that the ability to light and brighten the world depends upon the many others who learn to walk it in their hearts. And this morning, Bob's niece Alana will kindle our chalice, symbol of Bob's Unitarian Universalist faith, as a memorial flame to honor Bob's life. As we gather together today to honor the many gifts that Bob brought to us and to this world, may his memory burn bright in our hearts. To Bob and to all that he gave and all that he loved, we dedicate this service of memory and hope. And the poem that I share now, written by George Whitney, recalls Bob's love of nature and his environmental work to protect it for future generations and for all beings. And the poem is titled "In Spring." If I should die, and die I must, please let it be in spring, when I and life abutting shall be one, and green and lovely things shall blend with all I was and hope to be. The chemistry of miracle within the heart of love and life abundant shall be mine, and I shall pluck the stardust, and I shall know the mystery within the blade, and sing the wind's song in the softness of the flowered glade. April is the time for parting, not because all nature's tears presage the blooming time of May, but joyous should be death and its adventure, as the night gives way to the day. I was surprised to learn that Bob was born Roberto Calafiore. When I sat down with him on Zoom for the first time, where he, of course, joined the call wearing one of those berets that he so loved, he introduced himself to me as Robert, as Bob. But as I learned recently, he was born in Sicily as Roberto Calafiore and immigrated to the United States at the age of 9 with his parents and his 2 brothers. Now, as a new minister here at Morristown UU, I did not know Bob well. But beyond his love of berets, which I caught on to quickly, I learned something else pretty quickly, something that I know many of you know as well. Bob was just about the kindest, gentlest, and most caring soul that you will ever meet. Not a conversation went by between the two of us without Bob thinking about others. Not one. After his passing, several people at the fellowship also remarked to me about how caring he was. Even at the end of his life, Bob was busy thinking about others, about you, and especially about his family, and about how his memorial services could best be a comfort to you. In fact, Bob planned 2 services, one to care for the spiritual needs of his Catholic loved ones in this time of grief, and one to care for his Unitarian Universalist spiritual family. And he even selected the music for today's service himself, choosing pieces that he knew would be special for this congregation as well as for his children and his grandchildren. He cared about all of you so deeply, especially his family. Bob's life as a husband and a father began in his late 20s when he wed Joanne, the love of his life. And in the years to follow, they were blessed with a marriage of over 50 years, in which they brought 3 wonderful sons and 4 grandchildren into the world. And Bob found deep joy in creating a loving and nurturing environment for his family, and throughout his life, he never stopped devoting himself to them. For example, Joanne shared with me that Bob spoke every single day on the phone with his grandchildren, helping them with their math homework, and he really cherished those daily opportunities to reconnect with them. But long before Bob's grandchildren came into the world, when their fathers were still children themselves, Bob used to sing Rocky Raccoon, his favorite fun song, to his kids. And he actually asked that we include it in today's service to help bring those fond memories alive here among us. So let's pause briefly and hear that together now. And if you happen to know the song, feel free to sing along.
Ran off with another guy, hit him in the eye. Rocky didn't like that. He said, "I'm gonna get that boy." So one day he walked into town, booked himself a room in the local saloon. Rocky Raccoon checked into his room, only to find Gideon's Bible. Rocky had come equipped with a gun to shoot off the legs of his rival. His rival, it seemed, had broken his dreams by stealing the girl of his fancy. Her name was McGill, and she called herself Lil, but everyone knew her as Nancy. Now she and her man, who called himself Dan, were in the next room at the saloon. Rocky burst in, and grinning a grin, he said, "Danny boy, this is a showdown." His Daniel was hot, he drew and first shot by Rocky collapsed in the corner. Now the doctor came in, stinking of gin, and proceeded to lie on the table. He said, "Rocky, you met your match." And Rocky said, "Doc, it's only a scratch. And I'll be better as soon as I'm able." Now Rocky Raccoon, he fell back in his room, only to find Gideon's Bible. Gideon looked out, and he left it, no doubt, to help with good Rocky's revival.
Now, a little while ago, I talked about how Bob loved helping his grandchildren with their math homework. But those aren't the only people that Bob was eager to help, although I suspect that he found his time with them the most fulfilling by far. Bob had an incredibly caring heart, and he was always coming up with new ways to help make his communities and the world a better place. And in fact, one of my very first conversations with Bob was about how the worship services here at Morristown UU and some ideas that he had for improving the experience of our online viewers. And Bob had lots of ideas like that, and even bigger. In fact, he was a special man who combined three qualities that are not often seen together in one single person: big ideas, an eye for detail, and a willingness to roll up his sleeves and to do the hands-on work that's necessary to bring those big ideas to life. Bob was a mathematician with an MS in math and computer science from Stevens Institute of Technology and a 32-year-long career at Bell Labs, where he retired as a distinguished member of the technical staff. Outside of the workplace, he applied his formidable intellect to problems in the world all around him. And his wife, Joanne, tells me that he was always hard at work on some passion project or another throughout his entire life. Now, here at Morristown UU, that played out especially in his involvement with our Green Earth ministry, where he was instrumental in launching our composting project and helping bring solar power to this congregation. And those solar panels have just now finally been installed at long last, and they are a big part of Bob's legacy here and always will be. But that's not Bob's only legacy. He also lives on in the lives of the many students that he taught over the years. Bob found great joy in teaching beginning at a very young age. In fact, he started tutoring as a sophomore in high school. Then he continued that throughout college, and then he resumed after retirement. And he also taught at several local colleges as an adjunct professor of math, computer science, and Italian. Now, Bob's life was not all intellectual, however. He was also a deeply spiritual man. And earlier in life, he attended the St. Virgil Church with his family, where he found the teachings of Jesus inspirational and personally impactful. And over the years, he participated in and led many different Catholic ministries. And later in life, Bob became more eclectic in his spirituality, drawing inspiration and meaning from Unitarian Universalism and Buddhism as well. And here at Morristown UU, he participated again in our Green Earth ministry. He practiced meditation with our Buddhist Sangha, and he participated in our Gathering of Men, among many other activities over the years. In fact, Joanne and I were having some fun looking at some pictures of a tire day, a mysterious tire day, featuring Bob grinning alongside members of our youth group here, all of them wearing these beanies that look like they'd been especially made for this project. And at this time, the Reverend Alan Wells is going to share a few words about Bob's time here at our fellowship.
Thank you, Sasha, for this opportunity to contribute a few recollections of Bob. You know, Bob was always to the point, and I remember having a conversation with him when I first arrived at Muff in the coffee hour, and Bob telling me how much he liked the diversity of experience he could have among Unitarian Universalists. And at this very same time, he was also describing what he missed in his Catholicism was some of the depth and rootedness that he found very, very so valuable. He, in my experience with Bob, was learning how much he always wanted everyone to get along. As Sasha mentioned, he joined a part of the men's group and did all he could to help people listen to one another. And he did this as well, not just for gratitude to the wider world, but for his own need, because he knew he was a very introspective person and realized how much more he could do to reduce arguments in his family and how he could connect more with the loved ones in his life, whether or not they shared the exact same degrees. He participated in a way that I found myself getting to know him very well in a couple of the classes that I was fortunate to teach here at the fellowship, connected with the Buddhist spiritual tradition. And In one of those classes, the theme book was a book called Why Buddhism is True. I could never accept that title. It seemed like it was just the reverse of being broad-minded and open. But the book itself was quite engaging, and Bob found in the writing of Robert Wright a truth that he had been wanting to accept in his life, and a kind of a rootedness in addition to what he already brought to the experience from his Catholic tradition. And he felt comfortable with calling himself a Unitarian Buddhist. I'm particularly grateful to Bob, along with 2 or 3 other people, because they have created for us the mindfulness meditation group that still meets every second Sunday here. And the Buddhist, also, you could call it a Buddhist Sangha. Bob himself often participated in the leading and facilitating these groups. As his health failed, Bob contributed over Zoom. And in some ways, his voice seemed, even though difficult because of his breathing, more real and true than ever. He had reported to us what he had discovered during his meditation practice. And one of the last sessions that he was at with us, he reported a special singular vision in which he had come to realize that all the partisanship in the world, in which he strives so hardly to reduce, and all of the interpersonal connections that seemed to him to be so divided were rooted in a deep place. He's actually reported to us a vision that he had had in this recent meditation experience, in which he told us he had found for himself what it is all about. Simply, he said, it's all about love. I will remember his personal witness to this truth as I live out the remainder of my days, and I will strive in my own life to widen and deepen an understanding between all people, which was for Bob his contribution to us and to the world. Thanks.
Now, although Bob suffered a terminal illness later in life that eventually took him from us, he found great strength, courage, and peace in his final days in the love of his family, his friendships here at the fellowship and beyond, and in his spirituality. And now he is gone, but his legacy does still live on among us, and we feel his presence here among us still. And now let's conclude today's sharing of memories with a photo slideshow prepared by Bob's loved ones, or photo video, I believe.
Happy birthday, dear Emma and Lorna. Happy birthday to you.
Now let's stretch our legs a little bit and sing together. This is a song that Bob himself chose. It's number 86 in your hymnal, Blessed Spirit of My Life, and the words are also going to be on the screen. Please join me now in the spirit of meditation or prayer. Spirit of life and love, great God, you who are known by many names, hold us as we gather today to celebrate Bob's life. Surround us in comfort now as we experience the grief that comes from such a deep loss. Help us to find strength in one another. Let us feel the love surrounding us today, the love of family and friends who have come together to bid farewell to one of their own. Spirit of life and love, we give thanks today for the gift of Bob's life. Thank you for the countless number of lives he was able to touch throughout his time here on earth. Keep Bob close to our thoughts and to our hearts so that our spirits might be lifted by the memories of this wonderful man who will always be loved and deeply missed. Comfort us with memories of Bob as a husband, a father, a grandfather, brother, uncle, and friend. May our hearts be filled with gratitude for the life of this man. Amen. Blessed be. And now, in honor of Bob and the spiritual practice that he found so meaningful, let us enter into a moment of silence, of silent meditation. And at this time, we share a special piece of music that Bob dedicated to his grandchildren, who he loved so much. And he wrote, "Please remember all that I taught you about how to be happy and to love one another. I'll always be with you and watching you. Please think of good things and dream of me."
Days are long. Twilight sings a song of the happiness Soon my eyes will close, soon I'll find repose, and in dreams you'll always be near to me. I'll see you in my dreams, hold you in my dreams. Someone took you out of my arms. All I feel the thrill of your charms, lips that once were mine, tender eyes that shine. They will light my way tonight. I'll see you in my dreams.
Now I offer words by Leslie Takahashi. In the daily weave of our lives, those who have died are still strong guiding threads. Theirs is the golden glimmer, or perhaps the brilliant red, or the melancholy blue. Still, they are a part of the whole cloth of our lives. They are the ancestors, the goers before, and through this, we know immortality. In the hour-to-hour rush of our daily tasks, they travel with us through something they taught us that is now ours to do, through something they loved, which is now ours to carry out, through something we shared, which is now ours alone, and yet not. Through this, we know immortality. In the minute-to-minute grasp of where we are, we remember the joys our departed gave us, which opened us up to hope, the sorrows we knew together, which taught us strength, the life shared, which is now ours to steward. And through this, we know immortality. In the second-to-second pulse of life, we sense the spirit of those we have loved and lost. Their presence is too shy for naming, too amorphous for full knowing, and yet as real as the days we shared. And through this, we know immortality. They are more than remembered. They are memory itself. For what we love lives on in the way our beloved dead accompany us through our lives. Their words and their wisdom our guide, their humor our relief, their restless concern for the world our charge. And through this, we know immortality. Today we have said our goodbyes and we have shared our love for Bob Calafiore, a unique and brilliant spark of life. From stardust he was formed, and now we commit his light to the stars to which he has returned, recognizing with deep reverence a life well lived. And now at this time, the time has come for us to end our service, and Bob's niece Alana will extinguish our chalice flame. And although we have extinguished this chalice, let us be confident that such goodness, such happiness, compassion, and love as Bob's never touched the face of the earth without creating something eternal. His bright spirit radiates through our world still and through our own lives. Let us seek, therefore, to let our lives be his legacy, for his light is now ours to carry forward out into this world. May we celebrate Bob's life and the lives we now lead, for we are his honor and his memorial. All of his best qualities we now carry forward as we are now his voice, his hands, and his heart. And we close our celebration of Bob's life with these words from Mary Oliver. Look, the trees are turning their own bodies into pillars of light. are giving off the rich fragrance of cinnamon and fulfillment. The long tapers of cattails are bursting and floating away over the blue shoulders of the ponds, and every pond, no matter what its name is nameless now. Every year, everything I have ever learned in my lifetime leads back to this: the fires and the black river of loss, whose other side is salvation, whose meaning none of us will ever know. To live in this world, you must be able to do three things: to love what is mortal, to hold it against your bones, knowing your own life depends on it, and when the time comes to let it go, to let it go. May peace be with Bob as his spirit flies free with his family and his friends and all who loved him, and may peace at last be with us all. And we will continue our celebration of Bob's life during our reception, which is going to be over the way in our new Chew Hall edition. And thank you all for coming.